What's up,
Um,
co-host? What's
so
happening?
I do want to kind of piggyback off of the whole communication aspect. I do believe that there is a lack of comprehension going on. I'm not, and it definitely has something to do with people not listening. They listen for what they want to hear, and a lot of times people are listening and they will change everything that you just said just to make it in a form that they can understand it. And people switch up your words. It's like, I did not say that. People are not comprehending. I think, and that goes back to parenting, it goes back to elementary school. A lot of people did not get comprehension. And that's why, in the middle of a debate or an argument or even a training session, when you're at school or getting a new job, people get frustrated because they're not listening. And it is a way that a lot of people, they become defensive, or they just don't want anybody to tell them what to do. And that falls back to a lack of accountability, because now, if you're not listening to understand, you're not listening to get more knowledge, you're just in this, oh, they trying to tell me what to do. You didn't even hear nothing this person even said. If if you don't have the capacity to want to learn, a lot of people think they know everything, so they're not listening, and they have already comprehended it incorrectly to fit their needs and what their intention is in that conversation. But I land my point there.
That's true. I see a new sister just came in. Sister, you want to speak? You want to speak? I don't want to butcher your name.
Laditra,
Okay, Ladisha, thank you.
you're welcome. So what I wanted to say is like what most people have a problem with the communication or letting it be known about their problems, they never conquer the problem. It's always attacking each other. It's like the problem is there, but it's like as soon as you talk about the problem and then somebody feels some type of way, it's like, well, I feel the same way. Well, this happened and it goes off topic. And it really needs to be about talking about the like how we get through the problem itself. Because that was part of my and my ex's problem. We would start attacking each other and not the problem.
Okay, okay. Let me
And
ask
then
you
it would
this.
just roll.
Would it be both of you guys, or would it just okay? Say me and you together, and you come to me. Would it be me responding to you that's allowing this attack to take place, or is it you coming to me a certain way? You hello?
Okay, and yes, that's another thing too. So I'm more, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm more of a passive aggressive type person.
Okay.
So if I'm upset or something like that, mine I'm very quiet and I won't say anything until something happens, and I'm still working on that until something happens, and then everything comes out.
Now, how long would you wait? Like,
So
come on, come on, come on.
how long would I be waiting? Like eventually I'll get over it, especially if it's small. If it happens to be like a big thing or whatever, I tend to just be quiet, whatever the case. But then if you do something that's over the rails, like over the top,
Okay.
then it's like I'm gonna address that, but then I'm gonna address everything else, which I shouldn't do, but it happens like that. Now, do
Okay.
I come off crazy or do I come off like disrespecting you? Absolutely not. But in his case, he doesn't like to be confronted. So his goes from talking about like how his problems is, but then attacking me on top of it. And that's what our problem was.
So if you said he don't like to be confronted, so if you feel you didn't confront him, you think it'd be all right?
In some cases, yeah.
So what does that mean? Does that mean you should not confront him? You worth confront him, or do these things need to be brought to his attention?
No, I feel like I feel like it should still be confronted, but then it depends on the person. That's another thing. It depends on the person. He never liked to be confronted about nothing. He was still like, he was still in the child mode. Like if anything he did was wrong, it was like, okay, well it happened, get over it. Don't say nothing about it. You said it. I heard you. That's it. Like sometimes it wouldn't be, but if it was too much, then I'd have to say something. But then it would become a fight.
I think a lot of men like well, I'm gonna say people, but I seen some brothers like that. I could be guilty of that.
That's a lack of accountability.
Okay, come on, brother, talk to me. I think
I would say
you said
I
that.
say confront them all day long.
Okay, now listen, brother, listen. So I'm thinking if I know it's gonna go into an argument, I don't think it's at that point a lack of accountability. Don't you feel something? You ever heard somebody? I know we all have. I'm talking to Laditra and I say, man, I ain't trying to get into no argument, and then I proceed to go into what I'm, and then it lead to a. You see what I'm saying? I preface the statement.
So
Well, come on.
I would say you kind of avoiding it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for men,
Mm-hmm.
like really mature men in a relationship, you have to talk about everything, even if it doesn't, really concern you at the moment. But if it's bothering your lady, right, you got to sit down and actually talk it through and get them through it, right? Because it's bothering them. It's not going to leave their head. They're going to constantly keep talking about it or thinking about it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
kind of like what she said, she's passive aggressive, I guess,
Come on,
what she
yeah,
said.
come on.
So that's going to eat her up inside. So if
Mm.
you don't help her out, she's just going to drown in whatever she's dealing with,
But
and
what
you
I
the cause of it because you won't talk about it.
but what I noticed is
So
sometimes people that keep that going, they'll hold it instead of putting it out there. They'll keep that going. Hey, Coco, how you
yeah,
doing?
not. Yeah, you got to talk it through.
Did everybody? Okay, I think James, you want to speak, brother? I see you've been that patient.
Yeah, to be honest, I came in with when the BBW prompt was up, and when you switched it, I was just listening because I wanted to get context. I don't think I was on long enough.
Okay,
But if I can address the brother who said that this woman is passive aggressive, she has to be addressed.
okay, try now, brother.
I just have a question. Like, so are you guys going to kick me off if I disagree with everybody?
Come on, brother. Where you been at? You ever been in this room before? Talk your talk, man.
Okay,
We
okay.
go off the rails. Come on. We gotta
I,
be. We want to have open discussion, man. You ain't gotta
okay,
agree with us.
I
Come
got
on.
you. I appreciate that. So
I appreciate you. Come
I
on.
think
Help us out.
when when a man is leading a household, a lot of times the woman has to learn how to tailor herself towards the man.
Come
So,
on.
so if the man has a certain approach in a way that he's running his household, the way he's running the castle, he is not supposed to shift his behavior to deal with your passive
Come
aggressiveness.
on, man. Come on.
Actually, you should probably trying to learn his character, his nature, so that you can fit in his household. And I know that seems like chauvinist or whatever these days, but I just think when a man is leading and you have a true leader, right, then you should be trying to fit his program and not the other way around.
Come
And I
on.
think what happened in these modern times is that because men are constantly pandering to women, it's funny. It's like the more you try to like please people when you're leading them, the more chaos that comes,
Mm.
right? So I just believe that a lot of reasons why communication, and this is where I know this is going to get me in trouble. The reason why communication is so hard, especially in our community and in America, is because women don't want to really own the idea that he's leading. So let me try to figure out his program, like you would at work, right? At work, you would fall back, and even if you didn't, if you hated something, you would always come respectful. You would always come a certain way because you would know your place, and you wouldn't just spaz out and just force your way. There's a protocol that you will follow because you will understand the hierarchy, and it should be the same way in the home.
Come on, James. Come on.
That
Get some more.
that's
Somebody get James some pushback.
I
Go
disagree
get
with that.
James. Go get him.
I disagree with that.
Okay, come on. Get on
So
James.
he's saying he's leaving the household, right? In order
Come
for you to be a leader within your household, you gotta consider what your woman is feeling, right? So you're leading on a sympathy type deal and not empathy, right? So if you think leading on the empathy, you gotta dig in and see what she's feeling. right? You can't just say, "Hey, I'm the leader. You just follow me."
Why?
She's not gonna be able to follow you if you just just kick her feelings to the
I
side.
want to hear y'all bill, James.
What
Get
if
that
she's
him.
wrong?
Go, James. Go ahead.
What if she's wrong?
If she's wrong, then let her know that she's wrong. But you're gonna talk about it, right? You're just not gonna sit here and say, "Yeah, I'm the man and I'm the leader," and just keep moving
Well,
on.
so, but again, let's think about this. We try to change the definition of leadership when it comes to a relationship with a man and a woman, right? In any other facet of life, when somebody's the leader, right? Everybody's trying to figure out what the leader wants. How can we follow him? How can we follow his rules? And when he says, "Let's go left," we have to go left. How many times any of us have been on a job or a situation that we didn't like, and all of a sudden the leader said, "All right, we're shutting this down, or we're going to start this," and we just had to deal with it, right? So, what would be the difference
Okay,
in the home leading your children and your woman?
because you love them. This is your wife.
I, I,
You
I,
gotta,
I'm
you gotta
sorry.
go
try to
ahead.
mute up when the other people's
I'm
person
sorry.
speaking because we got a little some feedback. But you can come on in, sister. Then we just mute up and hear you. Then we
Yeah.
go back to Kendall. And I hear Morpheus coming out, Mike. Then we're gonna go down to him.
Thank you.
See, this is the thing. I don't want to. Oh, go ahead if you was gonna speak.
Yeah, I was just gonna say with what
Okay.
is it James? I'm sorry. Was that James who was just speaking?
Yeah.
What I was gonna say, James, the difference is um as a wife, I 100% agree with what you're saying. So you're not getting pushback from me as far as being the head. Because you are the head and you are the
Mm,
leader, right? But at
mm,
the end of the day, as a leader, right, we in this together. So if I'm looking at something in a different way, I want you to listen to me just out of respect. But out of respect for you, I know ultimately you make the final decision. But you're not going to look at me and like, I ain't got time. I don't want to hear what you got to say. No, because then I won't feel as appreciated as your helpmate. Because what happens is God gave us more than one set of eyes. There's another set with me. So God got you in the front and I'm going to have you in the back. So both of us together, you may see something in a different way and I may say, "Baby, did you see this? Did you know we can do this or we could do that?" And you may not have known it. So you take that information and you make the final decision, but you don't shut me down. You don't say I'm the man because at the end of the day, you don't have to tell me you the man. You don't have to tell me you the leader. I already know that you that, right? And I'm going to act accordingly. So I don't need you to constantly say that to me. And if you have to constantly say that to a woman, then she's not allowing you to lead. Because
Okay.
when you just in that situation as a wife and you know how to submit, he ain't telling you every day, I'm the leader, or in a situation, I'm the man. You already know that and she's acting accordingly. But it's also her job to share with you maybe some bumps in the road or some information that maybe you didn't know or maybe you didn't take into account for you to make that final decision.
Well, can we deal with it real specifically so the context isn't just saying things that I don't actually think? There's a moment in every relationship, right, where something will happen and we have to deal with it. And sometimes, and let's just say, I'll tell my wife this. Me and my wife got in an argument one time, and she said, "You're not listening to me." And then she got all pissed off. And I said to her, I said, I listen to you 95% of the time. And the 5% why I take my authority, you're going to act like I'm a tyrant. This is what I say to her. So I want to be very clear. I'm talking about the 5% when it's I don't want to hear what you have to say. This is what I'm doing, and I need you to be quiet right now. There's a 5% authority that I think men should have, especially if 95% of the time I'm 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 asking you, what do you think? How do you feel? Because you got to think about it. Anytime a man really loves a woman, his whole existence is trying to make her happy, right? So the time where I say enough, I think it's disingenuous to make it seem like that exception is the whole rule because it's not.
Come on, James.
You understand?
And then now it
There was anything
depends. It
wrong with what you
depends.
just
Can I,
said.
can I, can I
I don't
say
think there was
something?
anything wrong with what you just said. I 100% agree with you. But when you came out and said what you said, it didn't come out like what you just said. So you have
I
every
understood
right.
him, Miss Pick I understood him
Oh,
loud
you
and
know what?
clear.
Because
Had
you're
got
a
to let me.
man. You're a man. You're a man. I'm just saying it in a different way. But James, I 100% agree. There are gonna be times where you're gonna be like, boo, this is what we doing. It is what it is, and we
I bring
respect
you
that
out after a
because
few
you are the
people speak.
leader.
I start bringing y'all up. We just want to give everybody a chance, and I bring y'all up. So,
So
come on, sister.
yes, I
Come on.
understand. I
Can I
understand
say
what
something?
James is saying. See, I don't really like to put my business out there, but even though I did a little bit, but I'll say this: in this household, in my household with me and him, he did not work. He stayed home. I worked. I paid all of the bills and everything like that. But see, my thing was I didn't care if he worked or not. The fact that I was with him and I loved him very much, that was my whole thing. The only thing I asked him was to just help me a little bit at the
Sister, why
house.
you didn't say that
That's
in the
it.
first place? If you didn't
Because
work,
my whole thing, because my whole thing was the listening part. Like I know I'm passive aggressive a little bit, but I'm very cool. I'm very, cool. His
But
thing was, I don't know if he was.
you're not low key subconsciously building resentment because of that.
Right.
No, I know. I only felt like that later on during the relationship because then I felt like you always want to sit here and make it seem like I'm making you feel bad because I'm working most of the time. So when I come back, sometimes I'm tired and stuff like that. So if I don't do certain things or if I'm not with it right now or whatever the case may be, now you have an attitude.
You said with it. You said that sound with what?
Let's just say,
I got
see,
you.
I had to, yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Come on, host. You know what she's talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
Yeah.
messy. Y'all, I ain't said nothing. Come on, sister.
So my whole thing was like the fact that I'm even talking to you about a problem and you gonna brush me off. And now I feel some type of way
Right.
because it's like, what you brushing me off for? And I'm trying to just tell you something, but now you're being aggressive with it. So now I'm just thinking that you here just to have a free ride, and I shouldn't say nothing because you're the man, and you feel like, well, you could always be by yourself.
Excuse me. Can I insert one more thing based off of this new information? What's your name? I'm sorry. The
Laditra,
Laditra. Okay.
you can say Dee Dee, you
Okay.
can say Dee
Dee.
Dee. Go ahead.
So let me ask you this, and I hate to bring religion into it at all, but are you like a Christian?
I
Oh,
am. I'm not gonna say that I'm like
wow.
devout, like I go to church all the time and
Right.
stuff like that. But okay,
So
no.
here's a concept that because I'm a Christian too, right? Here's a concept
You
that
a
I think.
Christian? I've been waiting for a long time to meet one of them. How you doing?
So here's a concept that I think, especially anybody who uses the Bible as their source, right? There's a scripture that talks about to win your husband over, it's better to have a meek and humble spirit, right? Now, this scripture talks about if your husband is an unbeliever, don't leave him. In order to win him, have a meek and humble spirit, and through that, it would change him, right? Now, that's a scripture, but in real life, it works the same way. And you know how I know that's true? Because anytime a man has a daughter and she gives him the Puss in Boots eyes, you even if you want to get mad, you look at it and you go, and it'll make you feel stupid and you'll humble yourself. Most women, especially in our community, like to fight fire with fire. And all that does is create chaos. But whenever, and again, I'm not in your situation. I wasn't there. You probably tried that. But I would say that a lot of times if you want to check a man, humble yourself. And he won't know what to do with that. And I know that's not popular, but it is Bible.
So can I say something if any of the women
Amen. Let the
want to
church
speak
say
to her,
amen. Amen.
or the other women want to speak to her from a woman's standpoint, kind of woman to woman? If anybody else wants to, then but I do want to say something to her if nobody else does, as far as the women are concerned.
Miss Gabby, you
Okay.
there? Miss Unapologetic, you guys there?
Anybody want to say something to her?
Okay, they relaxing. They
Okay,
drinking. Come
so
on.
I wanted to say to you, Miss Deetra,
Okay, we're gonna bring you up in a minute, Rose. We got you. Come on, sir.
when we talk about God, right? It seems to be, in my opinion, right, just from the little that you shared, that your house is out of order. It seems as if you're the leader and he's not leading. Because at the end of the day, God had that switched around, right? So at some point, he's gonna, and leading doesn't mean that he has to be the breadwinner. I'm not saying that because you still are the leader, regardless of how much money you make, right? But as a leader, you're supposed to provide and protect, right? I don't see where that providing is coming in this situation, right? Because providing does have some financial pieces to it, other pieces as well, but providing does. So my thoughts to you, woman to woman, is you got to get back in whack with God, and He's gonna have to step up. But the question that I have is, did you marry a leader, right? Because not every man can lead, just like not every woman is a wife, right? So at the end of the day, you got to assess what you have, and I dang sure we get on my knees and be praying to God to help because He is not how God has you all to be, right? He should be man handling everything, honey. When you come home, because he can still be the leader, even if you're working. Maybe he lost his job, right? That's what we do. But if you have been taking care of him and he's not contributing to the household, that most men who are leaders can't function that way. Most men who are leaders pride themselves in ensuring that their family is taken care of, right? And I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying he's a little out of whack if that's the case. And you got to get back in whack because God ain't blessing mess. When y'all
No,
get
no,
back
I
in
understand that. It is a was because we're not together no more. It was a
oh
was,
sis,
but
I'm
yes.
sorry. I thought y'all still together. Well,
No,
honey,
I
I
was
made
just
it. I'm
answering.
done.
Yeah, I was just answering. I was just answering the
Can I
panel's
ask?
question.
Can I ask you something? Then we ain't gonna center you. We'll take it off you. Is one of them the reasons why y'all went that route? You gotta go deep, sister.
Communication
You
and
ain't gotta
anger
go deep. I'm
issues.
just asking. Huh?
Communication and anger issues was the reason why I left. It wasn't because of money or anything like that. Because
Okay.
I do truly love the man. It's just communication and anger. I cannot deal with hostile stuff every single day.
Was he willing to? Was he trying to work it?
We was speaking on it. I tried and had this whole we had a heart to heart conversation. And but I noticed that he has a lot of anger. He's very like short tempered. So I can't, yeah. I can't do that because that's not me. I'm not like that.
Okay. Thank you, sister, for your transparency. Okay, we want to allow the Ross. You want to speak, sister? You came up. You've been patient. I think we got to. Okay, stand up. We'll get to you after the sister. We'll let the sister. Then we'll let you speak. Your patience.
Hey, good evening. Hi, everyone.
Hey,
So I just wanted to speak on like the passive aggressive behavior that oftentimes women display. And um, I don't like the fact that us as women try to justify our passive aggressive behavior. Like it's a very unhealthy communication trait. And it makes it very difficult for your partner to hear what you have to say when you're being passive aggressive. That's like negative feelings, resentment. I can hear somebody breathing. Who is
hold
that?
on. It's just walk through the mic. Come on, sister. It's only you now.
So, like the resentment or the anger that's indirect, like the sarcasm, the silent treatment, procrastinating stuff on purpose, like making sly comments or remarks instead of being just open, like instead of addressing the situation openly and directly. Women feel the need to do those things and then expect a man to just be okay with it and then to tolerate it and justify it by saying, well, you upset me. And so in my head, I feel like that is what causes the confusion That's what makes your partner not want to listen to you. Your man, I like to say man, like it makes your man not want to listen to you. And at a certain point in time, I feel like that also builds resentment, not only on his side, but on your side too, because the direct communication that you should have had, both of y'all are now, so it gets to a point where now you are both doing the same thing. You're starting to match energy instead of like, just being straightforward about how it is that you feel. And then you can't listen because in your head you're thinking of another way to, in a way manipulate the situation and dismiss how that person feels. And then you create a space where you're now your man no longer feels safe in the relationship to communicate with you. And then you wonder why y'all are not connected at all. You wonder why he doesn't really want to come home like that, why he's not talking to you. You're preventing the emotional growth that y'all deserve as a unit, as one, because you're missing that opportunity by being passive aggressive, by not considering how he feels. That's what I
Let
wanted to
me
say.
ask you something. Have you ever been that woman?
I've done it before.
How you get away? How you get away from it?
I had to start healing. I had some wounds that I hadn't healed. I had a lot of unresolved issues as from childhood, and maybe being in relationships, because not all the time it's like childhood trauma. Sometimes relationships can cause trauma too.
Gotcha.
And so me feeling like I'm not heard in different ways, and feeling like the only way that I can be heard is if I be passive aggressive, if I'm being more snappy, or if I'm being sarcastic to get my point across, then that would work because of how I talk. Like sometimes people try to speak over me, and I didn't like that. So I found myself being passive aggressive because they thought that my tone meant like I was a pushover, right? So I had to learn that it wasn't, it was the men that I was choosing based off of the pain that I was enduring.
Wow.
And once I got to a point once I got to a point of healing the little girl in me, and understanding myself and loving myself more, I started to attract men who listened to me when I spoke. Where
Wow.
even if I was upset, I didn't have to yell. And if I got to a point where I was elevating, they were able to calm me down in a way, even if I was upset with them. And that taught me how to regulate myself, even while being upset. So
All
yeah.
right. You got a lot of growth and accountability going on. You can teach some people. Come on, brother Stanley.
Yeah. I thank everybody for their opinion. Yeah, like between these two, the person listening and the person who is talking, who is speaking, the person who has more power is the person that listening. Because when he listens, or when he or she listens, he can give accountable of what you say out of anger or what you are meant to do. Because I find it like I'm a good listener. That's why we have communication. That's why we say when you want to marry somebody, marry an intentional man or a woman that has a purpose or a man that has a purpose. I know, yes, marriage is not a military ground. Being a man does not make you to be a military. We are talking about family. We are talking about a man and a woman. We are talking about the future. We are talking about bringing up children who is looking up to you as a parents. So this is not a battleground. This is what we call, you have to listen as a man whenever a woman want to talk to you. Women, let me put this. Women are emotional. Some of them nag out of emotion. That's it. That's how they are created. So you as a man, it is left for you to listen. You don't drag the issues with them. That is how they are created. You can never take that away. They nag. It is natural. When they are angry, they can nag, they can be nagging. But you as a man, as a leader, you have to listen. Then when you listen, you have to pick the point, know the one that you have to throw inside the dustbin and move on with your life. And you have to, after listening, then you say your mind. If she starts nagging, then you can go outside and let her come back, and discuss it with her. Maybe she's hot-tempered. There's how family works. Like, you listen. I take it as a leader. You as a man, you have to listen more than speak more. But say your mind. Just say your mind, but you have to listen. It is when you listen more, you have to control your family. That's it. You have to listen more to take care. Yes, you're a leader. I believe that. I've been saying this. Yeah, as a man, as a leader, women are with emotion. Women like to say it, like they have to open their mouth. That is how they are created. They open their mouth, they say it. You as a man, you have to listen because they are emotional. Everything has to be maybe be of them talking or anything. Family is not a battleground. Communication, that's why I said communication skills. That's why I say if you're into a relationship or marriage, you have to go and learn communication skills. You have to be able to communicate. You see, there's what we call anger. I don't deal with anger. There's difference between angry and these people that are emotionally angry. Like people who always like to, any small thing, they have already even having an anger issue. It doesn't work. If you are somebody that always, like you always feel like this anger, you like to fight. That's not what marriage is all about. That's what partnership, like I like more of listening than talking. When you listen, you have your point. Like I can make case against you when I listen. You can say something out of emotional imbalance. You can say something that is bad. I will grab it. I will use it against you. You understand? Because that is listening. So we have to work on that. Listening is more, I think the person that listens have more power over the person that is speaking. This is it. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Stanley. I appreciate that. Morpheus, I want to allow you to speak because you said something, and then the sister they called me, pick me, said something. I shifted over to this topic, man. So that was a good move. You there, brother? Or you? Because Morpheus,
I'm here.
all right,
Do
thought
I
you
sound
disappeared.
good?
You Morpheus
No
now.
echo or nothing?
Power.
Okay. Um, I just want to say, like, I've been in charge of 65 people before, right? And I didn't have no help, didn't have no assistant managers. These were all direct reports to me, right? And I used to have people who would come in my office and just want to talk. They just wanted to vent. They didn't want me to fix anything. They didn't want me to do anything. They were just having a bad day and they just wanted to get it out. Or somebody was bothering them and they wanted to get out. Or they were frustrated about their job and they just wanted to get it out. I had other people who came in my office who wanted me to fix something. They had a problem and that's the only time they came in my office. They didn't come in the office for any other reason. So when I saw them walk in, I knew they had a problem, right? Because they never walked in my office for any other reason. Then I had people who never walked in my office. They would complain to other people on the floor, and I would hear about it through the grapevine, and then I would have to address them on the floor. They would never come in my office. I'm saying all that to get people to understand if you are a leader, you need to understand the people you are leading. That is your responsibility. And understand what type of leader do they need. I cannot be the same leader to the person who just wants to come in my office and vent versus a one who wants me to come on the floor and fix the problem right away. I have to be able to adjust my leadership style to the person that is in front of me and understand how to communicate with that person. This is why there's classes and certifications and all this stuff over leadership because there's 1,000 ways to do it, depending on the person that's in front of you. So to tie this to a relationship or to a marriage, you have to understand the person, the type of leader that you are. And I'm speaking to my men, right? Because I want I want my brothers to be leaders, right? I understand that women are okay with with um with them being leadership. I don't believe in that. I think if you're the man of the house, you need to be a leader, right? So if you are trying to be a husband, you need to understand what type of leadership you are most comfortable in, leadership style, and pick the woman accordingly that benefits your leadership style. If that woman does not benefit your leadership style, you should find that out in the courting phase and understand how to deal with that. Some women will go off on you. I had a woman slap me in the face because she was so mad one time. I took it. Now, did I want to body slam her? Of course I did. But I understood that that's the type of woman she was. I calmed her down,
Wait, hold on,
got
brother.
her
Oh,
to
wait a
understand.
minute. Now, wait a minute. You said you had a woman put hands on you. You went real fast.
You did. Now wait. And yeah, but let me land this plane,
No,
right?
keep flying. I like your
So
plan. Come on, brother. You Morpheus now. You got power.
yeah. So what I'm saying is I'm not saying accept any type of behavior. What I'm saying is you have to stand on business. If you are a leader, you stand on business. So what you say has power. How you move has power. How you, if you just, you should be able to look at your woman and say, hey, and not say anything. And she understands that whatever she's doing, she needs to stop. And that's not, I'm not saying that
Gotcha.
in a controlling way. I'm saying it in a, she understands you and you understand her. Because I also believe a woman should be able to do that to her husband too. So what I'm saying is, I'm gonna go ahead and land this. But you have to understand who you are as a man, your type of leadership style, and the woman that complements your style, and what type of communication you guys decide you guys need.
I really, really appreciate your perspective, especially when you was talking about them 65 having to answer. Did everybody get a chance to? No, no. Brother, I see you just came up. Come on, brother. Let you speak and then we can move it around. Come on, Shop. You just came up. How you doing, brother? You there? You ain't tap out on us
Yeah,
already. Come on.
I'm
Come
here.
on, brother.
Um, which holds more value, speaking your mind? Shoot, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It has to really make sense.
Come on.
A person can really actually be saying something, but what does it really actually correlates, and what are you really actually pertaining to, and where is it really going? Sometimes people be saying where it's how you say it, man. That don't even make any damn difference with me. If what you say is what you said. You know what I'm saying? Because some people can take it into so much different context on if somebody is speaking in a certain type of way of like being, they want to threaten you, or they're going to be nice about it, or they're being genuine and stuff like that. It's what it is how they, as what they said, it's what they say out their mouth.
So,
That's how
Shop,
they feel.
go ahead. I'm sorry. Come on.
Yeah. So it's what they said. So if honestly, if a person is telling you how they really actually genuinely feel based off of their emotions and the intent of the intent based off of it and everything, then just gotta take it. You gotta take it as a grain of salt. That's how you gotta kind of like look at the situation, because a lot of people are sensitive. They claim that they're not sensitive. No, you're sensitive, because if your accusation is, oh, it's how they said it. No, just listen to what they said out their mouth. If I'm approaching a woman, I say, "You look nice today. You look nice today." There's no intent of me being aggressive or anything else. That's just the way how it coming out. That's all what it is. Or even with a dude, if a dude, he trying to be aggressive and everything else. I'm like, it's two formalities of knowing how us gentlemen, how we will kind of correlate that situation. If a dude want to get aggressive and everything, I'm like, you got it, bro, and I walk away. But now we get physical now. I'm going to say it once and only once at that time, and that's it. You know what I mean? But it's all about having. I mean, at the same mirror, it's based off of like the weight of what you're saying out of your mouth. That's all what it is.
Appreciate that, Shop. Everybody had a chance to speak. We can move. We can move it around. Miss Pick Me, I was looking for you. Come on. Come
Yeah,
on.
I wanna add in something.
Come on.
Sometimes some women don't know how to hold a conversation, and even some men. That's why I say you have to build on your conversation skills. It is not, like you don't start with nagging. Some people have to be like physical. Some people have to go physical. When they want to like vent their anger or anything, they want to talk. Some women, they have to go physical. That is kind of terrible. When you go physical, sometimes some guys don't know how to react. When the men, I meet some men, some people maybe they don't know how to react. When you go physical, they go physical. You understand? So you have to be in the middle. You have to understand this person for a long time to understand that this person always go physical. You don't vent her anger without going physical. It might come with a slap. It might come with a hitting. So whenever she wants to complain or vent her anger on you, if you're someone that you can leave the house for her, and later you can come back and maybe her mind have calmed down. Maybe you people can sort it out. Some people are physical. So this can have like traumatized some people, or some men. Some men also go physical when talking to their lady, which is very bad. Which is the day you lay your hand upon a woman. That's the day your home start breaking. I can say the any day you lay your hand on a woman, that day you start having issue in your home. So whatever happens, you have to take a leave, take a break, just go out, come back, give her a time, just come back, speak with her. You understand? So out of survival, I want to talk to Didi. Then what Didi said, she said that the guy doesn't have, let me put it. Some men are egoistic in nature. Ego. Some men are egoistic in nature. So he feel that maybe you are bringing something to the table, and he isn't bringing anything, and he want to use that to control you. Maybe he don't want to go out of that manlyhood. Like he want to hold his man. Like he feel that maybe if you are providing, that is where it is too much. The man is doing too much. The thing that he doesn't understand leadership. If you understand leadership, you know that you as the woman who is providing, he should be supporting, even if he's not bringing like physical cash, financial help. Like there's supposed to be a kind of leadership in aspect of advising or taking advice or listening for the family to be, for him to hold the leadership position, to hold the family. So he made a mistake there as a man. He should find something doing. When he finds something doing, he have to listen to you because you are the provider, you are the leader in that family. So as a man, he need to move on.
No, no,
And
no,
you also
no.
need to move on. Thank you.
You're killing me.
Come
You're
on,
killing me.
come on, James. We're gonna let you speak, and then we're gonna give it to Thanos because he just came in. Come on,
Okay.
James. Then I want to hear from the sister, Miss Pygmy.
Like leadership is all about establishing a direction, all about establishing construct to any situation, whether it's business or whatever you want to do. I'm a musician, and most of the time, as a musician, I'm a musical director. The worst musical directors is people who don't give direction. Is when your band members don't know what you want from them, right? But what you find is when you give people clear direction, they know what to expect from you. And again, not you knowing what to expect from them, not you leading by consensus, like, yeah, oh, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? No, this is what we're going to do. This is how I want to hear it. This part, I want this to go this way. It's the same way in the household. And what happens with people, what you'll find out real quick is when I'm talking about the time you meet a woman to the time you dating her in marriage, when you bring true leadership and true vision and a true construct, all that stuff that you're talking about, you have to listen and you have to, like, you don't have to do that because what'll happen, she's constantly looking to, she already know how things go. And if she don't understand, she's looking to you to go, how do we do this again? And then with love, I'm not saying that you're mean because I don't want to come off like I'm mean, but you just have to give like the host. I don't know your name, brother. I haven't been on this thing a lot, and I don't want to be disrespectful.
Nah,
But
you said it right. Come on, brother.
I love the way you handle this. It's clear this runs the way you want it to run. I've seen on other panels where it's chaos, but he doesn't let it get out of hand. Nobody's over.
Hold on. You give me some credit, James. I appreciate you, but it goes.
Got you.
I just try to let people speak. Come on, James. I appreciate you, brother. Come on.
Nobody's over talking each other because he's leading properly. So none of us, and I'm a very aggressive person. I can't even I can't bully him into taking over his platform, right? Because you just see the order. So I fall in order. So I don't talk unless I have permission, right? And it's the same way in the household. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. I believe that true leadership in a relationship, I think it's dead, and now we kind of like moving in dysfunction, and we trying to move in this consensus, and men listen way more than they should. Now and again, if you don't have the leadership skills, you got to get them. But the whole thing is coming with vision, coming with a construct, coming with a purpose, and you won't even have to be arguing with your woman a lot. It's I hate the idea that you were giving Stanley of this dynamic of, just figure out what's going on with her. It's like, no, she needs to figure out what's going on with me.
That okay. I want to say I was with you.
I think James, you was landing.
Yes, sir. I was there. I was done.
Okay, Morpheus, come on, make it quick because I wanted to let the other two brothers that didn't come in speak.
Yeah,
first.
real quick.
Just a reminder to reset. We're at 77 people. We're only 17.9 taps. Don't forget to tap.
Thank you, sister. Come on, Morph.
I was with you all the way to the last 2%.
Okay.
I think, and this is just a leadership style disagreement, my brother. Just listen
Okay.
to me. Um, I do think, like brother said before, part of your leadership is have empathy for your partner, right? So
Yes.
if she's having some trouble understanding where you're trying to go, the vision you're trying to do, and the purpose of that, you as a leader have a responsibility to communicate that to her and get her to understand where we're trying to go, right? And that's the
Mhm.
only nuance I think I disagree with a little bit what you said at the end. It
Sounds
shouldn't
good.
always be it. Well, I don't know. Maybe I felt it differently than what you were trying to communicate.
Okay.
Um, I think if you are setting an environment of leadership and stability and safety and all that good stuff, a woman with some common sense will understand that and fall in line. You ain't got to say nothing to her. She gonna
Facts.
just do it.
Yep.
Right now, if you messing with a knucklehead, that's a knucklehead. We can't talk about those.
Right. Okay, Thanos, we want to let you get in, and then we're gonna give it to Karen. You there, brother?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. What's good,
Okay.
Pygmy?
What's-
What's good,
Thanos,
Stanley?
Thanos,
What's
did you know Morpheus is in the building? We
yeah?
got Thanos and Morpheus in the building.
I see Big Bro Morpheus down there. You know this will
And
be.
he talking that talk, bro.
Yeah, man. You know this will we come at. You know this all this here. You know this mature conversations over here. But I'm gonna say this. It depends on what side. If a person is offended, you know, I think listening to them, you know, that you know that's a priority. If the person, you know what I'm saying, is the offender, you know, you know, just I mean, I really would just say listening on both parts. But I will say this here, right? Um, in my situation, you know, I didn't know how to listen or talk to my person. Because what we tend to do, we tend to take something that have worked with somebody else previously and move on to the next person with that same work ethic. But you got to understand, you know, if you see people differently, then you can't take what you learned from Burger King and go to McDonald's and thinking it's the same thing. It's different. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, so in my situation, I tend to speak from experience about me, you know what I'm saying, where I fucked up at and you know what I'm saying, how I learned from it and now I do things different and better. I just think, you know, when it comes to the value of speaking your mind or truly listening, you got to be careful with that, right? Because if you speak your mind to the wrong person, they would use that as a tool to victimize you. And women go through this a lot to where, you know, they would, you know what I'm saying, you know, they will pour into a man verbally and listen to him. And then this man would take everything she said and he goes under it because now she's vulnerable and he abused her.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why people need to be careful who they speak to. See what I'm saying? Talking and speaking your mind are two different things. When you speak your mind, it's strategic. When you talk and you just like you underwater breathing. You see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
you know, now when it comes to truly listening, you know, have you know, like when people say, I'm listening to you, but I don't hear you. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like you know, you can be listening to a person but not hearing them. And the reason why you're not hearing them is simply because what they saying is not registering with what you got going on. So you got to be careful where you put your ear at, and you also got to be careful where you put your words at, because you can put your words in a place and that person will accept it just to get in close to you to do something to you rather than loving you. And I speak from experience because, like I tell y'all about, you know what I'm saying, my current situation with my wife, you know, in our stages of getting to know each other, it's a lot of things she said to me that I used against her. And it's a lot of things I said to her that she used against me. You see what I'm saying? So what we had to really do, we had to sit down and understand, like, hold up, we need to stop being opponents and understand being a partner.
Because what a partner is going to do, a partner is going to allow you to speak all of your mind while you teach them how to truly listen to them. You see what I'm saying? So what I had to do with her, I had to sit down and listen to her speak all of her mind about certain things. And once I understood her speaking all her mind about certain things, it is then I understood how to truly listen to her. You see what I'm saying? Some things that we do naturally, other people have to award or reward us with strength so we can truly do them things. The key word, what he's saying in that prompt is truly listening. When you truly listening to your person, it's them. You listening to them. You understanding them, speaking all of their mind. So, and like I said, when it comes to things like that, man, you just have to be able to like listen, truly listen, speak, and speaking your mind is levels to it. You can speak, but you're not speaking your mind. You listen, but you're not truly listening. You know what I'm saying? It's level to it because guess what? Everybody, don't deserve you speaking your mind. Everybody don't deserve your truly listenings. So, I think when it comes to a situation like that, it really depends on what side of the spectrum you on. I land right there. And I love everybody. I love everybody in here. And lunch gonna be on me next year. Mark this day. Next year, this day, lunch gonna be on me. I ain't buying nobody nothing but Happy Meals. You heard me?
I was gonna hold you to it, but I tell you, we'll take the Happy Meal. Look, I want to say this, man. I never heard this many brothers at one time on the panel. I haven't been in a whole lot of them, but I've been in enough that talked about listening. I appreciate that because you never really, you guys obviously listen. So in order to be able to say that, so I really appreciate you brothers saying that because we don't get a lot of that. It's hard to listen, man. Come on, Karen. I want to let you speak. You've been patient. I'm sorry, Miss Pickney. Come on. You want to speak, sister?
The only thing I was going to say about what Thanos said, I think when Thanos mentioned partnership, I don't think of a marriage as a partnership. I think because I don't feel that women are equal to men. I think that you can't have a partnership when you have a leader. There has to be someone in control. There has to be someone who's leading that ship. Just like in a company, there's a CEO. In a marriage, there's the man. So I just wanted to mention that I get how Thanos sees it, and I respect him thinking that way. But I just wanted to mention that I see marriage more as the man as the leader and me as the helpmate, not as a
When
partner.
he say that, I think he's just talking about a simple level of respect. Because I think it's sometimes what's understood don't need to be explained, and certain people understand their dynamic. I think he's just talking about simple respect, just based on how he coming off.
I think that's what you're saying, but I think Thanos he shared that he doesn't see marriage like that. He and his wife are true
Yeah, I mean,
partners.
he was talking. Well, I don't want to talk for him, but I feel I
Oh,
can. I heard him enough. I think he was talking towards the how the states and things had that set up. But listening to the brother over and over, I be understanding clearly where he coming from. Just like the young brother at the bottom, and
Hey, Pick me.
everybody
I'm
on the
gonna ask
panel.
you this. I'm gonna ask you this. Pick me. Have you ever been in a situation? I'm not even gonna say have you ever, in which I can assume truthfully that you have been in a situation like this here, to where a situation has arrived with you and your significant other. And then you be like, damn, what was you not listening to me when I was speaking such and such and such and such? We all have.
Yeah, it's a fact.
We all have. So if when you was speaking your mind, they was not truly listening, even though they heard you.
Mm.
We all been in that situation. Cause like I just said, my wife, we've been like a lot of toxic stuff. We've been through it, but we got through it. We was hearing, but we wasn't listening. We was talking, we wasn't speaking. And I only can speak from my experience with my person. What goes on someplace else, only thing I can do to it is just learn from it, but not speak on it because that's not my situation. Even in marriage, like I said, I don't like what I'm gonna do to my wife, she gonna understand she need nothing except what I'm able to do for her because I truly listen to her speak her mind.
So I get that. That's not the question. So I have a question for you about in the marriage. Do you look at marriage as you as the leader, or do you look at marriage as you and your wife equal partners?
Marriage is me and my wife equal partners. There is no such thing as I need to leave because I know what to do. I know what she will allow. I know what she's going to do. I know what she will allow. So every day I wake up just to make sure I am doing what it takes to maintain and stabilize what we have going on.
And that's
Because
what I was speaking to, though, right? That's what I was saying. I get how you feel, and I understand how you and your wife are, and I'm not telling you how you should be. I'm just saying I believe that the man is the head. I don't believe that we are equal partners, and that's all I'm saying. There's more than one way that you look at it. You run your household that way, and our household will be run with him being the head and me being the helpmate and not equal. And that's all I'm saying. Just two different ways of looking at it.
yeah, yeah, hey, pick me. We've been around each other a little minute. We understand. You see what I'm saying? We sit in
It's
the
still
same arena,
respect.
but we just got different seats.
Yep,
We
it's
sit in.
respect. Yes, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I know where you're coming from, but at the end of the day, the most important part about what you understand to be leadership, we just like to make sure Miss Pick Me is loved by the person she genuinely loves.
That's right.
We like to support that. We like to make sure Miss Pick Me is respected by the person she loved being respected by. Miss Pick Me, she is purposed by the person she have acknowledged as her person. You know what I'm saying? So, we just sit in the same arena. We just got different seats. You know what I'm saying? I
There you
like,
go.
you
There you
know.
go. Come on, Karen. You want to speak? I'm sorry. I appreciate your patience. If you there, you there, Karen? Karen,
Yeah, I'm here.
come on, brother.
So, as I was saying down in the comments, like, no one is greater than the other. Like, I there's no point in speaking your mind if you aren't going to be willing to listen. And there's no point in listening if you aren't going to provide any uh, feedback. Like, yes, there are certain times in which people just want to vent and they don't want to have someone provide like answer or whatever, but like that's how conversations go. Like you give some and then you take some, and to think that one's greater than the other, but um, I'm with Thanos. Like I feel like um, we me and my wife are in a essence equal to each other, but we're like a yin and yang. Like we complement each other in different areas. There are certain areas where I um, do more than she does, and then vice versa. Yes, in a sense, I'm the head of the household. Like if we are not able to come to a mutual conclusion, which has yet to happen in the time that we've been together. But if it were to come to that, she trusts me to make the final decision. But outside of that, like, I feel like there's no reason why two people shouldn't be um, equal to each other. Like, and then in relationships, uh, some people say it's 50-50. No, it's a 100-100. Like, because my wife gives me 100% of who she is, I naturally want to reciprocate that to her and make her feel like she's the best individual out there because she makes me feel like I'm the best individual out there. And there's one other thing that I wanted to touch on before I landed. There's a difference, and Thanos sort of covered this, but I'm going to use different words. Like, there is a difference between listening and hearing. listening is like a recording. You could play back that recording. Hearing is, I understand the emotion that you are placing behind that, and I am going to respond to that with equal or greater emotion out of respect for you. Like actually following through with what they were asking. Does that make sense? Or
Yeah, makes sense.
Say something crazy.
Yeah, come on.
This is what I'm gonna say crazy. This is gonna be really crazy. I find that men who think like that, wives cheat on them with men like me.
Come on.
I feel as though
Disagree. I disagree with
women.
that.
How
I
he get a
disagree with that.
double
No.
take? He
Yeah,
get a
yeah.
double take.
Come on, shake it up. Shake it.
I
Come on.
No,
listen,
I disagree. I
listen.
disagree with
Let
that
one let
because
go. Let
if
brother
Let, let
somebody
me
was with
finish.
me
let
that
me
felt
finish.
equal,
Let me
What the
finish.
fuck you just said?
Hold
Let me
on.
finish.
You gotta
Let
give him a
me
minute. Let the
let
brother
me finish. I
and
feel like
then we're gonna let
men.
the sister, then we're gonna go to pick me then Thanos because they all I'm sorry. You gotta let the sister Rich Wilson speak first because she just got in. Appreciate you,
Okay.
sister. Come on, brother.
I this is a crazy topic because nobody ever wants to admit it. We all
Come on. I like that. You ain't gotta worry about it. Come on. We're
we've
gonna
all
cuss
heard
you
that
out,
concept
James,
that
and you better not run, James.
I'm not running. I'm
Okay.
not gonna run. We've all heard that concept is like, good guys finish last,
Mhm.
right? And that concept, what I've seen is that it's almost like everybody acts like, oh, if you treat me fairly, I'll treat you fairly.
You
But
go.
that's not really how life works. Life really works when the person who steps up and takes it. My whole life, I seen the guy that was aggressive, confident, and knew what he wanted, right? The winner kind of lead women, and all of the nice guys could never get, or the nice guys may would get with certain women, but they would get cheated on with this guy, and it's going, why is he a jerk? Why is he an asshole? It's like even with Dee Dee, right? It's like it's not really a crazy thing when she's messing with a guy that's pretty much not contributing. He probably displayed other character traits that drew to him where she ignored all that. Because it's not necessarily true that just because you treat somebody fair, they want to treat you fairly.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
I'm done.
Okay, we're gonna give it to Ms. Wilson because we appreciate your patience.
oh no, wait. I just wanted to say that well, Butterfly was here first, but
Yeah,
I
we
just
gonna
want to say with
okay.
him, I just want to
We
say to
gonna, we
him
gonna
that
let you get it, sister. Go ahead if you can get it quick. We're gonna let y'all get it because he made a statement. We want y'all to respond. We gotta make sure we let everybody speak. Come on.
okay, the only thing is I don't feel that is true. I mean, I don't cheat anyway, but I feel like that would go for more of the younger women or the younger girls who would do something like that. I feel like the women who know what they want, older women wouldn't cheat just because her man was just nice. I'm not saying they like very few raggedy ones do it, but a true woman that knows what she wants wouldn't do that. That's all I want to say.
Exception though.
Right. That's you. We. He not talking about. See, I don't know why people do that. He don't be specifically talking about people individually. The
No, I
man
know
is
he's not
talking
talking
about some
about.
real. We need you to take it away from your external self and talk about what you really see out here. Because some of us really
No,
see
that's
outside.
no, that's what I'm saying. I said that usually it's the younger women and the
No,
girls that do
no,
that.
no.
I've seen in my part that most older women that don't that know what they want don't do that. I didn't see it.
They're not on the other
All
side.
right.
The
You might
men
not
can't
be
be on
outside.
the receiving end.
Huh?
That says she can't. Women can't say that because we're not on the receiving end.
I keep
Men
that.
are on the receiving end, so they have the knowledge, and how we can't tell them what they're receiving on that end and what they're seeing from their quote unquote
You
boys.
better, you better stop it, young lady.
We can't say that.
Okay,
Women,
I'm a agree with you on that. I'm agree with you because I haven't talking to everybody, so I'll agree with you on that.
He shook it up with that. We want to let Butterfly speak, and then we're gonna give it to Miss Rachel. Thanks, Laditra, for letting me know because I didn't get a chance to look up there. I'm over at multitasking. Hey, Butterfly, how you doing?
Hi, how are you? Thank
Come
you.
on, tear this stage up. Come on now.
I have to agree with every single thing. I've never come to your live before yesterday, but I was scrolling through and that's what made me come back today. I didn't follow yet because I like to discern, but I have to agree with everything Mr. Thanos said. He was preaching yesterday and he's preaching today. And I heard the
Oh, you
host
caught the
say,
good part of us, huh, sister? You caught the good part.
maybe
Thank you.
so. I
Thank you.
heard the host say yesterday, or today, that damn, you almost made me miss my thought. Hold on.
I'm sorry.
You that's okay. It's okay. Because you said he was talking about, oh yes, it came back. When I talked about him, it came back. You said yesterday that you rarely hear women in here talking about their men in the way that Mr. Thanos was talking about his woman. I talk about my men so much. My man, I said men. I'm not a political, whatever the P word is for women. I got one.
Tell
I
the
was
truth,
talking.
sister. Tell the truth now.
Yeah, I got one. I talk about my man and uplift him so much because we got together after my divorce and I was single. I think not enough women do this. I was single for 5 years after I got divorced because I needed to work on me. And I feel like a lot of people just jump from relationship to relationship to relationship and they don't ever actually figure out what their needs are, what their standards are, what their boundaries are. So they're not equally matched. And Mr. Thanos also mentioned a time between him and his wife where they weren't on the same page and they were being competitive instead of working together, right? You have to have a concerted effort when you have a partnership with somebody to make sure that you guys are both on the same page with what your desired outcomes are. I'm a corporate girly. I work with desired outcomes. I set a project and I set with an outcome of what I want that project to yield in the end. And then I work my plan to make sure that that project, everything that I do aligns with my desired outcome. You have to do the same thing when you're forming relationships. You have to know that the person you're forming a relationship with has the same interest of a desired outcome as you do. And that's when you can put your BS aside. And the fact that him and his wife worked through that and put their BS aside, I already know the light at the end of that tunnel. Because every obstacle couples have when they're meant to be together and they're working hard to be together, they come out at the end of that tunnel after that storm, they're stronger, they're tighter, they're closer, they have more of a bond, they have more of an understanding of each other, both internally and emotionally. So I really do believe that there are a lot of good men out here and there are a lot of good women. The thing is, they're not making sure that they're matched well. So you got women that's trying to turn men into things and men trying to turn other women into things. If you want a trad wife, find you somebody that believes in traditional trad wife values.
Come
Don't
on.
get don't get what y'all are calling the 304 and try to make her be a trad wife and make her stay at home. If you want a woman that's 50-50, don't go get a trad wife and try to make her work and pay the bills. Like you have to make sure that you're assessing people for what they actually are and not what you want to make them be.
Come
And
on,
I
sister.
just
Come
I
on,
just wanted
Butterfly.
to say that and I really like your room. I like that it's a mature setting. I like that you keep the chaos to a minimum because I bite back too. But I always, I come on with yeah, I'm a Gemini, so it's two sides to this story. But at the end of the day, I love that your room is an adult space where adults are talking, where healed people are talking. Those are the things this is how the Black community is rebuilt in rooms like this, right? And I just wanted to say that, and I'll stick around. Like I said, I'm on a burner. My page should be released at about another hour, and I might come back on my real page. But this is
I go at 5:30 every day and 9:30. Trying to
okay.
get 5 and
Okay.
9.
I
I'm gonna
follow you.
follow you.
Every
I'm gonna
day,
follow
every
you
night.
on. I already followed you on this page. Okay, I'm gonna follow you from my main page also. But I just wanted to mainly, speak a little bit about my situation. But I also wanted to commend, this gentleman. I haven't heard everybody's personals. I don't, get into personals that much. But because he shared and I was listening, I wanted to just give him his flowers. I think it's commendable. I think you're one of the Black men that should be holding space for your word, and teaching the youth, teaching these YNs out here that ain't got a clue. So yeah, I just wanted to say that, and I think it's very interesting that there's so many different opinions between the men and the women on whether women are equal to men or not. I think a guy in the chat nailed it as well as Thanos. There's equality and there's equity, right? Equality is about fairness. Equity is about same, or equality is about sameness. Equity is about fairness, right? What's fair? We can be the same, but is what are we developing a fairness between what the expectations are and the balance in our relationship, right? A lot of people don't do that. And a lot of things, when you're with the right partner, they don't even have to be said. I've never been asked by a man if I'm submissive. I've never been asked by a man what I bring to the table. I've never been asked by a man if I'll let him lead me, because I make sure I discern what's best for me. So I didn't have to, I don't have to entertain those conversations, right? For me, those conversations are TikTok only, but I do love coming to share and letting people know. Don't let the social media, or let social media make you think the dating pool is shit, or all men believe this, or all men are red pill. None of that is existent when you're actually building with somebody who sees you for you and you're making your desired outcomes known. And I'll land there. Thank
Oh,
you.
sister, you cooking, but you
I
good.
followed you, Queen. I followed you.
Yeah,
Well
we,
said.
we really appreciate you, sister. I
Thank
got a
you. I
little
appreciate
pushback for
y'all.
you. Not no bad pushback. I got a little bit for you though.
Yeah, I love a
On
good
the
little bit, a good
No,
little
you
pushy,
said
pushy.
no. You said you were speaking on the dating
I
part,
want
and I was just saying I really think you could teach some people just as you saying the next person can. You said certain conversations ain't for you, but I think they is. I think you can get in that space and possibly change some minds. You know, they doing some bricks and
I,
stuff.
I go live occasionally. I'm not a live
Okay.
creator or anything like that.
Okay.
When I get the bug to hit the button, I hit the button. I
Okay.
don't have a schedule. I don't have, I mean, I got like less than
Okay.
3,000 followers on my main page, but I do go live. I like coming to established lives like this one, because
Okay.
I don't go enough to be an established live, but I've been a speaker on other men's lives and different things like that. So I don't mind being invited and coming to share. I'm a public speaker in my corporate job, so it doesn't, I don't mind coming to share knowledge, but I don't have the schedule or capacity to be on a normal creator on here. But
Well,
anytime you invite me, you just send me the invite, I'll show up.
we appreciate you, sister.
I want
And you
I
do the
want
same if you can. I'll be moving a lot, but I try to get in there like you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank
Okay.
you. I'm enjoying it.
We want to
I
let Miss
wanted to
Wilson.
piggyback off of something that Butterfly had said.
Okay, after you, we want to let Miss Wilson speak because she haven't had a chance. Come on, Karen.
Yeah. So one thing that I heard is that uh, 40% of the time you are with the partner that you fell in love with when you first met. The other 60% of the time, you are with the person that they've always been. And so it's important to learn to love and respect the person for who they are and not try to change them into the person that you would like them to be, and vice versa. Um, and I'll land my plane.
Okay, all right, Miss Wilson. We appreciate your patience.
All good. All good.
Oh,
Good
no,
evening.
go
I
ahead.
hope everybody's doing well. Butterfly, I couldn't agree with you more. I thought that was very well said. So thank you for sharing. Um, as it relates to this prompt, um, what's interesting is it's kind of trained me to be an active listener, right?
Right, right.
Certain people that, again, I will vet and discern who I want to actually consume and or take in or listen to. And again, this panel, I told you last time how much I appreciated what kind of atmosphere you've created. But nevertheless, active listening is really there for a learning purpose, right? So I think listening is why we have two ears and one mouth is holds more value than you speaking, because nobody knows if you don't know nothing if you ain't said nothing, right? So um, that's definitely my take on that. And so that's the prompt. Now, in terms of what Butterfly said, I couldn't agree more. And I'll land my plane after this. That you must take people at face value. There's a difference between liking the idea of someone and then really facing the reality of who they are, right? So I've even had to learn not to romanticize But to really take note on someone's character, which takes time. People can show you personality all day, right? But personality opens door, only character keeps it open. And that takes some time and intentionality to observe. But moreover, you got to make sure your own self is intact and you're adhering to your own promises, which is one of the building blocks for self-esteem. So you don't, you don't fall for the okie doke. And that's all I got to say about that.
All right. Miss Lanny, you just came in. We appreciate your patience. You can speak. Sis.
What's going on, y'all? Hey, panel. Hey, room. Hey, everybody. What's going on? Chateau. I see this prompt and it just make me think of like the kids that I mentor and the girls that I talk to and stuff and the things that they going through in life because, when you was talking earlier about the majority, I talk to them and I mentor them and I be like, y'all got to stop, taking these guys and taking them and trying to build a bear. Because that's what you're doing. You trying to build a bear. And this goes off the same thing that Butterfly and Rachel is saying. Is like, I get it. You sitting here and you taking somebody and it's definitely romanticized at the beginning. It's like, oh, he took me here, y'all. He did this. Oh, we did this. Oh, it was fire. Oh, and he got a nice car and he got a good job. And he opened my door. He brought me flowers. Like, okay, that's cute, girl. That's cute. Okay, but how did he treat you? What is he about? Did you check his character? Do you really want to be with him long term? Like, what are the things that you really like about him that you can see long term with? They don't know because the things that they doing is all face value stuff. It's all build a bear stuff. Also, you taking this person as they are and you trying to make them into the person that you really want them to be long term. Okay, so you just hoping and praying that over time he changes and turns into the man that you really want him to be. Okay, now we in like, a year and he ain't done nothing. You pushing him to try to get to his dreams and his goals that he told you he really wanted to do at the beginning, but he's still sitting on the couch. And you was hoping and dreaming that he was gonna be this amazing person that you wanted him to be and go to church with you and all these things, but he's still not doing those things. He's still outside. He's still drinking. He's still smoking with the homies. He's still doing the things that he's doing in the streets. So everything that you hoped and dreamed that he would be is, what are we doing here? We're not making anything. So now we sitting here, we trying to figure out why majority of these kids need so much energy, need so much love, because this is the beginning of all of the relationships that make baby mamas in our culture, that make these kids sitting out here and nobody really watching them in our culture. And then they argue and fighting back and forth, and is anybody really listening? No, because it's a battle of, I'm gonna win my point. I'm gonna win something in life because life ain't giving them nothing else. And I'm gonna land that plane right there. That's all.
All right.
She cooked that Thanksgiving turkey there. She cooked that Thanksgiving turkey there.
The build a bear comment. Okay. I will say this. You can build with a man who is walking in his purpose. What the problem is, y'all build with men who are not walking in his purpose. And what I tell my daughter all the time, you can help a man. Okay, you can open the door for a man carrying a couch, but you can't help him carry the couch, right? So if a man is walking, especially young, if we're telling our young people that we cannot build together, then we are doomed. Because a young black man, now come on now, a young black man in his 20s and 30s, he's still trying to figure stuff out. He's still trying to make his way. He's still trying to build his life, even if he's had his stuff together since he was a kid. And that's not happening very often. So if you're not willing to build with a man walking in his purpose, at that point, he's not going to pick you or see you of your value when he's built it. Because if I built it all by myself, no help, nobody there, nobody chose me, right? Nobody wanted to help me build. Now, like some of these dudes out here, I'm not going. I'm not respecting nobody because nobody you're not going to come in while I'm 80 to 90% done and then talk about let's do this, let's do that. I want to be your partner, sis. I built the whole house by myself. Where were you at? So I say just if we're going to advise our ladies, our young ladies, to not build with a man, just put the caveat on it. He has to be walking in his purpose. If he's walking in his purpose, it's worth the gamble to try to build with him. Just my opinion.
I'm gonna respond to that real quick, Morpheus. I'm talking differently. So this is talking about trying to make a donkey drink the water and being with somebody while they shooting in the gym. Like that's two different things. And they have to use discernment when they're figuring out which
Yes.
the young man that they're after actually has. So I get you when you say walking in their purpose. That's with them while they're shooting in the gym. And, because I have to break my English down to where they understand what I'm talking about at that young of an age. So when I hope you understand me when I'm saying it correctly, in those terms that I'm using.
I do. Again, I'm not shooting at you. I'm just saying I want clarity because there's a lot of people watching, right? And our communication level is different. So we have to be us on this panel. We have to be very clear about where we're coming from. So we're getting our message across. That's all I'm saying.
So I think it's about assessing risk, like you said as well too, and it depends on where you're at in the journey. So you have to use some wisdom. 20s and 30s, typically people are still trying to figure some things out. And as Butterfly alluded to, you have to make sure that you have common goals and the objective is the same and you're aligned so that you reverse engineer and the risk you are taking is calculated with high probability that this is going to be able to withstand, right? So we have now, if my significant other and we're 50 and 60, he's been working on Wall Street for the past 25 years and says, hey, babe, I think I want to be an astronaut, then we may need to rethink a few things, right? Like that's polar opposite. And I know um, that's an extreme scenario, but nevertheless, I totally hear what you're saying. And that's why people sign, people, I can understand why men want a woman to sign a prenup. Listen, if I came already an heir, right? And I decided that I wanted you to be that we're going to have this relationship. I would like to think that you are in it for who I am, 21 questions, but man, you got to protect your assets, so there's a fine line. We hear horror stories about women who have put their fiancés through medical school for them to turn around, be a doctor, and leave them. So there's, I guess it's like you said, it's a gamble. It is a gamble.
Okay, I want to say this to the panel. I hear a lot of maturity here, right? However, I want to ask you guys, what do you think about a lot of the children that's coming up now? They may not have this level of maturity around them, guiding them, so they can help vet the process that we hoping that we speaking to mature people that can understand what they're saying, but we talking together. It's a lot of maturity here, but you got kids out here that's not being helped to vet who they choose. How you guys think we can help get through to them?
Love the question.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Love the question. And it sounded very solution based. That's why thank you for asking that question. I'm not trying to overtalk. I just spoke last time, so I'll wait my turn, but I just want to say thank you. Someone else can go while I formulate my
I
response.
think because we try to conquer at a mass volume in the Black community. Oh, I won't go. You can tell the order. You can say an order. I don't want to.
Go, get it in. Fart, get
Okay.
it in.
I'll be quick. I was just gonna say, I think that we try to tackle things at a mass level, and one of the things that I tell people is that everybody's not going to be able to go. Right? There's going to be some people that get left behind, and that's one of the things that we have different mindsets amongst our community, just like every other community, right? I don't think any race of people or ethnicity are monolithic. I think that we have a lot of different mindsets. So I talked about this on a panel once before. Instead of trying to tackle it from a Black community perspective, we have to tackle it from a basis of our individual homes, right? We're all raising families. We all have, some of us have kids, some of us don't. We're all in proximity to other people, whether it's your little cousin, your niece, right? So I do that. I practice what I preach. I have a lot of little cousins. My mom is one of 11. I have a lot of cousins. I have a lot of aunts and uncles. Anytime I'm in a family gathering, I'm the one that sparks up conversation like this and gets like debates going. And I think it's critical that we do this at an individual level, because you got to think about it. And I use this example, and it's a bad example because it's harsh, but it's an example. When you think about how slavery began, it was because a group of people had a desired outcome and they work towards that outcome. It's not a good example because nobody wants to look at slavery as, an example of team leadership. But at the same time, and I speak from a mature level, so that's why we were grown people. I'm just using, but that's the biggest example in the America of how an entire race of people were done the way that Black people were done over time. Whether you look at it from the Willie Lynch aspect, or whether you look at it from systematic racism. At the same time, it's a common and desired outcome. We as Black people, I think, can make a difference and can bridge the gap that we have with our younger generation, to answer the host's question, if we first start on a granular level. We have to start at a granular level before we take it to a broad level. People are always like, oh, let's start a movement and everybody post this and everybody do that. 2,000 people ain't starting a movement, right? So you have to look at things from a perspective of what is the desired outcome? The desired outcome is first to change our mindset. A lot of us still have slave mindsets. You have people in your family that have a slave mindset. You might have a friend that knows that have a slave mindset. We have to change our mindsets. We have to first tell ourselves what we deserve. And once you tell yourself what you deserve, that's when you go get it. And we have to start doing that in our individual households first. We have to make sure that our children know. Like, that's why I said not to rag on you. They call me pick me, but that for me and my family is a dangerous rhetoric. I have one of each. I have a 15-year-old son and a 20-year-old daughter. I will never tell either one of them that one of them is inferior to the other. Never. What you choose to do in your household, but that's a perfect example of why I said we are all on different thought levels. Even in this one group right here, where we have people on this panel, you have two men and a woman and another woman saying, oh, well, I think that women and men are equal and bring different value and different attributes, and they're equal in those attributes. You have another woman on the same panel, both of us are Black women, who's saying, oh, I think that women are not equal to men, and I think that men are superior to us. So even there, right, in this small little subset of a group, you have big differences of opinion. That's why I said what I said. You have to start on an individual level. You can't change everybody's mind. You have more likelihood of changing the mind of somebody in your proximity than you will a stranger. So start in your households, start with your families, start with your friends, lead by example, and I'll end there.
Okay. Wisdom, you came, brother. We want to give you a chance to speak. I don't know how long you've been there, but I don't think I heard you. You there?
Going on with you, bro? No, I just came up. I was in the comment mostly. I saw the prompt up there, man. It's the fire conversation is being had. I was I was just in the cut like peroxide. I was digging it though. You know what I'm saying? And I was one of the things I think I wrote was, what value is a mind that speaks but doesn't hear? I mean, you can say a whole bunch of things all the time, but if you don't have the emotional awareness, intelligence, you know what I'm saying, to receive, then what value is it? Because if you're not received well, then you don't speak well. Because you can give any kind of message you want to give. That's not the point. Is it being received correctly so that it can be of value? Are you planting seeds? Are you just kicking up, some dust all over the place because you feel like talking?
I appreciate all you brothers that keep talking with just everybody in general, but especially the brothers for the listening aspect, because man, it's hard for brothers to listen. So you brothers are really reinforcing that listening.
Okay, to speak on this topic about listening and speaking your mind, right? I think it's very important because I'm going to say this, about me. Growing up, From the age of 6 to 9, I was essaying. So I never understood what it was like. I had to learn how to talk to myself, locked in a one-man cell 24 hours, 7 days a week for 10 years. When I, like, because, you know, I did 20 years in prison. So out of the 20 years I did in prison, I did 10 in open population and 10 consecutive years with no access to light in a one-man cell. But what I did in there, I had a whole bunch of papers and pens. So I learned to talk to myself. Now, speaking and talking, two different things. I learned how to talk to myself. So when I learned how to talk to myself, I acknowledge myself as being a reflection to other people. Then I learned how to speak to people. I talk to me, but I speak to y'all. I talk to me because, you know, I'm dealing with things that only I am supposed to have access to. I speak to y'all simply because it's best that I correlate with you guys. You see what I'm saying? So me learning how to talk to me and me learning how to talk to me and me knowing how to speak to you guys, it's important because a lot of us men growing up, we didn't. And some of us to this day still don't even know how to talk to ourselves, but think we know how to speak to others. And the ones who don't know how to speak to others while speaking to others, they tend to point the finger in their verbiage. See, because within your verbiage, you can do many things. You can point the finger. You can accept accountability. You can, you know, be neutral. You can be mutual. So the only way you will know that a person is speaking to you, look at the approach of his verbiage. A lot of us men, you know, growed up, you know, hey, toughen up, you know, no, be quiet, don't cry. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you don't do that. You don't. So only thing we understand is not doing. Don't. So if we all always told growing up, don't, that software has taken part of our normal functionings and reprogrammed it to where we don't listen, we don't talk, we don't speak. You see what I'm saying? We don't hear. You know, we are hard headed, or we stubborn, or we always on the negative side. But we are taught that's the right side. It's not. Cause see, I'm gonna tell you something. I stepped away from a lot of things when it came to history. When I looked at the traits of the slave master that were did to our black women that she did to the family. Slave master told the black woman, you teach your son, your kids, this and that, that and that, that and that. They better not. So she taught them to better not. That's why only in the black community, the black men, we are not the ones who are quote unquote respected when we become available emotionally. So we don't become available emotionally. I struggle with that with my wife. She used to ask me like, baby, what's going on? And I'm sitting there looking at her like she a TV channel that I don't know nothing about. I'm looking at her like, man, what the heck is going on? Because I had tapped into that negative software that was instilled in me, such as don't. I didn't open up to her. I did not allow her to be listened to. I did not allow her to be heard, understood, and respected. Only because I said, okay.
We lost you, brother. Come on back, brother. We lost you, brother. You're in the matrix. Thanos, come on.
Their mind, and then being truly understood. You see what I'm saying? So I think, like, when it comes to stuff like this here, when you meet people, like each one of y'all in this, the people that I come in here every day with, I frequent with, I conversate with. I build a bond with my presence with these same people in here. I talk to Big Bro off the app on a positive note about the positive things about what could be done and what must be done. And it's only like that because I interact with people so y'all can help me remove that don't mentality. It is y'all helping me remove the, hey, man, be open. Be, you know, if you want to cry, cry. Pull your eyeballs out with some water and give it to us. You know what I'm saying? Because we are taught to not do that, us men. So if we are taught to not, you know, be available emotionally, then guess what else we are taught? Not to listen to our woman, because our women in our community, and my wife, I give her due respect and due diligence. Our women are the ones who put our emotions in perspective. to where it is regarded as something we can turn to as a pillow if she's not around. It is our women who do this for us. We don't do this for us. I tell every woman, the only way a man can love you, he gotta love you the way his mama taught him. No man can love no other way except the way his mother taught him. He can't like you no other way except the way his mother taught him. So if he try to do something that's not a reflection of what his mama taught him, you need to check him because he's out of line. And if he won't let you check him because he's out of line, then he got that don't mentality. I ain't talking Bryson Tiller don't, but I'm just saying he got that don't mentality. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, when what I managed to understand and what I managed to know and learn, if we refuse to communicate with each other, then the only thing we ever going to accept the very things that were told to us a long time ago, don't. I'm going to just say this and I'm going to land my plane. Every other race of men in the world is available emotionally, whether they crying, telling the truth, speaking, or being honest. Why the black man is always told to be stern, hard, and drill sergeant like, don't you do this, don't you do that. But it stagnates us. It prevents us from loving our woman because I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something that I know about black women. Black women do not like to see any man cry. It don't matter if he's black or white. Black women do not like to see any man cry because she knows when he cries, she needs to go help him. But the reason why she don't like to see him cry, because he's not going to let her help him. She want to see you cry only if you will let her help you. She want to see you hurt only if you will let her heal you. But if you're crying and preventing her and you hurting and you still preventing her, she don't want to see it. And I think that's what a lot of men mess up, man. I think that's what a lot of men mess up, and I land my plane with that.
Thank you, brother. Wisdom, you want to come on, brother? You want to speak?
Oh man, yeah. You know what? I was digging what the brother was saying. You know, these are important things to be had in our community. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like when he said talking and speaking, I said, man, that's deep play right there. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not the same thing. One is the action of, the other is actually what you're looking for, right? And women always say, you know, communicate with us. You know, there are classes in college on communication. Talking doesn't mean you're communicating just because you're talking, because you're not being, you know what I'm saying, received well. It's about conveying your thoughts, conveying those feelings. It's about making sure somebody can receive what you know what I'm saying, what you're putting down. So you can do it all day long, but if comprehension is not involved, then what are you doing? You're giving something to somebody who can't bring in, you know what I'm saying, or make sense of what it is you're trying to say. So these are they're real valuable. What the brother was saying, I really didn't have a lot more to give in on that except to say that, you know what, we need each other. You know, building is a responsibility on both sides. Choosing wisely is a responsibility on both sides. Everybody's not worthy of everything. Just because, you know, a man talks sweet, but he has no action, no motion, that's not something you need to be in, because there's a lot of things people jump into real quick. Dating is not a relationship. Courting is for marriage. There's things we need to slow down on and back up on so that we can figure out how to get it right rather than tear each other down. That's not getting us nowhere, because you don't hear a lot of other cultures have these conversations. I know I don't. I'm around a lot of different cultures. I never hear they say they men need to learn this, they men need to do that, they men or women need to do this, they women need to do that. Hey man, they put it down and work together, because marriage is not, you know, about money. That's about the love game. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna take it to that joint, you know, you talking about vows to the rest of the end of the story. So a lot of times when I hear people getting into dating situations or dating things, it's usually about finance. Value and finance is usually what they're talking about. High value man, that's money. That's not value. You know what I'm saying? You could win the lotto. Money could be here today, gone tomorrow. That's about a skill set. Do you have the skills to last in the game? You know, value is about what you can do without, not what you have. You know what I'm saying? When Big Mama could make things last when she ain't had the money, that's value. It ain't about having something. You know what I'm saying? So I'll just listen in the cut, man. Y'all go ahead with it, dog. I appreciate you letting me up on the panel, bro.
Thank you, man. We love the insight from everybody. Miss Barbie, you want to speak? I see you up there. I don't know when you got in there. Y'all got to excuse me. I try to make sure I let.
Hey, big play. Hey, big bro. Hey, big play. Hey, I'm gonna say this real brief, not even
Oh
3
my God.
seconds. I have wrote a book. I have wrote a few books. I just don't know how to get them published. I need help with getting them published. I'm telling you. Man, if y'all let my books get in it, get in your, oh man, Lord have mercy.
Okay, so anybody out there that got any resources towards that,
Okay,
make
they
sure you
have online. Yes, my cousin works at a publishing company in New York, but that's a big publishing company. It costs a lot, and you have to have somebody that wants to actually like buy the like take the book on under their franchise or under their publishing company and have the rights to it. But in order for you to have the rights to your own book, it might be a little bit harder to get it known, but I would go it's an online publishing company. If you just look up online, they're one of the first sponsored links that come up. If you just put biography self-published online company or something, you'll see one of those sponsored links. I
can
would go through
somebody
a
put that in the
self-published,
chat
and
for us?
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna go to my laptop right now. As a matter of fact,
Okay.
I'm in my office, but let me just get
Okay.
over here one
If you
second.
get it, if
You
you
can
inbox
self-publish
me,
on Amazon. You can
okay.
Yes,
self-publish
that's
on
what I
Amazon.
yep, that too.
Okay.
But I would do that if you already got them written, Thanos. Yeah, all you need to do is get with Amazon. They have a affiliate link. You can sell your book on there. But I'll put this publishing company, the online one that I'm talking about. I'll find it and put it in the chat.
Thank you. And Miss Christina down there, can you send it to one of our inboxes, please, sister, Miss Christina, so we could transfer the information? Appreciate all that information.
Yeah, I want to get that out. You know, I even got my own platform, my own podcast and website and everything. I sent to the big bro. He
We
checked it
gonna
out,
get it.
man.
We gonna get it. Yeah. Come on. Karen Hands, you could come on speak. And if anybody could, you guys, thank you, sister. I know somebody in the comments gonna inbox us, and then we're gonna cross-reference that information. Okay, come on, say that, Karen. Can you say that real quick, and then we can pass it around? Can you say that to the panel? You
Well,
there?
basically, what I was saying is like, um, Thanos was saying earlier that like a man's gonna learn from his mother. Like I I've tried to learn so hard from observing other people and their uh, their activity between each other, their relationships, and I have not been able to do it because I'm autistic and like my parents have been together 45 years. Bunch of great examples with them, but I'm the sort of person like I have to live through it to be able to understand it. And I can see something all I want, but it's not until I actually do it that I'm able to wrap my head around it.
Well, we appreciate everybody that come up here and they
I know
bring us.
exactly what you're talking about. It's- I see it all the time. So if you ever talk, and this goes to everybody in the panel or everybody in here, have you ever tried to talk to a younger generation person and they're not listening or hearing a thing you say? And it's happening every day. And when I asked some of them, I said, why don't you listen to her? You know, talking about their teachers or their parents. They say, well, she don't listen to me. And that's where it starts. That's where it starts. When they don't feel heard, we build our men to be people that aren't heard. We build our young women to be people that aren't heard. And we don't understand that that starts when they're young. We bring them in the principal's office and the mother is just yelling. She just yelling at them at the top of her lungs, just yelling. And I'm like, okay, let's hear from him now. And she's like, I already know what he's about to say. Then I'm like, okay, well then hold off for a second and let's hear what he has to say. And he says something that she doesn't even know. She doesn't even know that he feels like he's been bullied by this teacher for months. She had no clue. And this is how it starts right there. So if you have a kid, if you have a young niece or nephew or little cousin, actually listen to them. Ask them some thought-provoking questions. Let them feel heard because you have no idea that that may mean the world to them because everybody in their life may not be truly listening to them. And that's where the trauma starts. And I'm gonna land my plane right there.
Thank you, sister.
The play. I appreciate you. I'm about to slide, man. I just want to say, man, followed your content for a long time. First time on your panel. Continued success and love, bro. Slide, but I appreciate you having me up here to give a
I
voice. You know what I
appreciate
mean?
you, man, and have a good rest of your day, brother.
Yes,
Appreciate you
sir.
for
Yes,
all
sir.
that. All right, always. Miss Dowd, Miss Porcelain. You wanna come? I know we had kind of was talking about some things.
Yeah, I think I kind of lost my train of thought, but I was speaking on um the autism spectrum. You supposed to have like link up with like ABA therapy, get with a BCBA to try to figure out like how to maneuver in your life when it comes to those things, because it's very hard to maneuver out here with autism because the way you perceive things are different, because of the diagnoses. Furthermore, I really had something to say, but I forgot. In terms of like, yeah, I forgot. I was gonna talk about like, a lot of people say like our kids are, lost. Dinos was saying, what you asked host, what could we do for the BLK children or children in general? I don't differentiate through race because when you're working in the mental health field, is not they don't gather data based off. They do gather data based off race, but sometimes it's collective entity. Um, when you're dealing with mental health and certain clinical diagnoses through the DSM-5 and stuff. So a lot of these kids develop like oppositional defiance disorder, and I've seen a lot of intermediate explosive disorders in a lot of children because can y'all hear me? So a lot of children, like when it comes to Black mothers, we're taught to be disciplinaries to our children, and I think that's what starts them to not being able to express their emotions. Oftentimes we look at YT children and YT parents, and I've seen certain scenarios where Black moms are like, oh, if that was my son, I would have been put a belt to him, just because the child may run up and down the hallway or, throw something in the air. So I've noticed that in that form of parenting, they allow their children to express themselves. But when our children try to express themselves from an emotional standpoint or have a little outburst, we try to crack the belt. We become the authoritarians in their life, and we become these women that want to be stern and correct the children. And in that type of parenting, it censors the child. It makes the child never want to feel free to express themselves. So in my opinion, that's why we here, because I feel like a lot of us, I don't know how y'all upbringing was, but if I didn't do something right, my mom would hit me with a belt, grandma would pop you with a switch or something like that. And it's like, man, I was just being a kid. So, and in terms of the essay, stuff that goes on, Thanos, it's a lot of children and mental health, especially boys, that goes through that situation. It's very gut wrenching. Sometimes I cry at night because it's just like their innocence are taken away from them and they become very angry. And it
You
takes a
work with
lot of.
children, Barbie? I might have missed that. It sounds like you work with
Yes, I
kids
work
though.
with
Okay.
children and I've worked with adults before, and I've also worked with rug addicts before. So a lot of things that my colleagues experience with people, they don't do it for me. I don't know if they can sense the genuineness in me, the love and caring in my heart, and so the ability to want to help them, not judgmental. I think they have a internal spiritual feeling with certain people, because how they may treat me, it would not be a good day for one of my colleagues, not at all.
Can I say
um
something?
sure, absolutely.
Um, I just wanted to make things clear. Like, I've been working in the mental health field for about 15 years now. Like, you guys sort of caught me on the off day. Like, whenever I'm exhausted, I'm not the best at articulating myself. But like, I've a lot of the residents I work as a program counselor at a residential with schizophrenics, and a lot of the people there are like whatever I have to give because of the simple fact that I'm able to provide them with empathy as opposed to sympathy, because I've dealt with dyslexia, ADD, autism, depression, anxiety, PTSD, and I'm able to put myself in their shoes. And where a lot of other people who work in the mental health field, they tend to uh, just go off their book smarts, and a lot of mental health, you got to be able to relate with them, because if you are able to prove to them that you are able to understand what they're going through, you're able to cut the time that it takes to get them to open up and to uh, work with them.
If I could jump in, kind of going a little bit off of the conversation of,
I'm sorry, you didn't have a chance. I'm sorry, we don't need.
oh,
Come on,
can I
come on.
speak? Am I allowed to speak right now?
Yeah. Come on. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, just kind of getting off of the subject a little bit on children, which those are really good points because my sister's an ABA, and it comes down to listening to the parents and of really truly observing children to really create a effective, what's it called? Personally, you know what I'm trying to say. What is the plan that you intervention plan for the children to correct what's going on? But also, I want to talk about the older generation as well, the jaded women that they don't hear, they don't listen. I'm sorry, give me a second. This is my daughter, but they don't listen. Good job, thank you. Show daddy, show daddy. Sorry, but mommy, so daddy. Okay, take it outside. Shut this door for me, please. Okay. And I might have to log off because it hurt. But I was just in a live where women where women were asking for other women to chime in on the opposing side of, do you think women are naturally submissive? And I said, I do believe women are naturally submissive. And I'm thinking we're going to share our views, we're going to talk about it. And when I say that in that chat, they did not listen to anything that I had to say. They berated me. They made me feel so bad about being a submissive wife, to the point of saying, like, I can't even fathom why somebody would be submissive. But maybe that's the conversation you need to have versus breaking someone else down and just getting your viewpoints across, to the point of you're cutting my mic off. You're not letting me speak. Every time I have a point, you're speaking over me. Mind you, these ladies, they don't have men, they don't have children. And I feel like because they have such a jaded outlook on life, they don't hear or receive anything else coming in. And that is a big problem with our society too. When we feel like we've been hurt by something, we can't hear anything else to further our understanding of what we need to know. Sorry, my daughter is up loud, but that's my point on it.
Okay, thank you, young lady. We like to talk to the young people. That's who we trying to communicate with. I come in 5:30 and 9:30, so I'm gonna end it after I allow somebody else to take us out, and then I'll be back at 9:30 later. I appreciate everybody. You guys were, phenomenal and amazing, like how it always is, even though we've had that pushback sometime. So Butterfly, Thanos, if you or Brother Morpheus want to say something real
I
quick,
just
Butterfly, take us on out.
I just inboxed everybody that got the information in regard to the publishing thing. I will be back, big boy, I'm always pull up on the panel, man. The vibe good, the energy good. I love this space, no BS, no tolerance. And messy over here. We respect our women, we uplift our people. This ain't about no money over here. We ain't caring about no lying, no boat, no skateboard, or none of that. This space over here, this for real adults. We're not on this app trying to, build up an empire so everybody can see what somebody got. Rather, we over here trying to help and heal and love, man. That's all I got to say. Y'all be safe, and I will be back like farts. You heard me?
Morpheus, you want to say something, brother? Then I'm gonna get to the sister. Let her take us on out.
Okay, I'll be real quick. Again, I appreciate everybody conversation. I love having adult conversations with people who can have disagreements and talk through them and do what they need to do and do it in a grown and sexy way. I just want to say one little thing. We talked about boys expressing themselves and emotions and stuff. What I've tried to teach my boys to do, because I was never allowed to do that as a child. My stepfather used to punch me in my chest anytime I tried to cry. So I grew up very mad and frustrated. Um, but so I taught my boys that it's okay for you to cry, and it's okay for you to cry in front of people who respect your cry, right? Because you can't give your cry to everybody as a boy. Um, but you got to be able to communicate your feelings after that cry, and I think that's the piece that a lot of us don't get, because they grow up into men who can't communicate their feelings. So you have to teach them very young how to communicate that cry they just gave you, so they can understand how to communicate their feelings to their wife in the future. That's all I got.
Okay, hold on, brother. You just said something important. You said that your stepdad used to do a certain thing to you. I want to ask you to explain real simply what helped you get out of that, and how did you get out of that? You said you was angry. You said some very important things that some of the kids is going through, and we need the other piece of that.
So my stepfather,
You're breaking
my
up a little bit,
stepfather
bro.
was never taught. Hit
You
so.
break you in the matrix,
All
Morph.
right,
Morph is in the matrix. That's crazy. Morph, you in the matrix. We can't get you. Morph. Morpheus in the matrix. Ain't that crazy? Nah, we can't hear you, brother. We need you to get we need that little piece right there. That's important. Hello? Nah, we it's over with. We can't hear you. I need you. You must have probably rolled under a tunnel or something. Now we lost you all the way. We can't hear you, brother. We hear you. Come on, come on,
That
let's hear
was
you.
good too, and he needed to say that because I think that was a good call out host that could help somebody, you know?
That's very powerful. You brother, you gone for real now, but we can't hear you. We hear you trying to come.
Dang. That was a great question.
Morpheus, he in the matrix.
He probably gonna stay on and come back in because he didn't answer. If he anything like me, my OCD don't let me not finish a sentence.
Okay.
He might just like try to pop back in.
Come on, sister.
Um, yeah.
You hear
Oh,
me?
see, look, I told you, there he is, right on time. Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Hello? He might not be able to. I
You
feel like as soon as I start talking, he's gonna come back.
can't get you, brother. You trying, but it ain't.
We trying hard too, because that was gonna be worth sharing.
A lot of people, a lot of people be going
Um,
through a lot of things. Come on, sister.
yes, yes, they do. Um, I just want to leave everybody with, I feel like we as African Americans, or if you're not an African, if you're indigenous to some other part of the world or the region, just we as Black people, we didn't choose, right? We didn't choose any of the cards that were dealt to us. We didn't choose the hand that we got, but we're here, and I feel like a lot of us are thriving and we got to each one teach one. Everybody may not receive your information. Everybody may not receive your word of advice, right? Some of us have figured things out, and I'm still growing every day. I have a lot of things figured out, but I still got a lot of things to figure out, and I'm growing every day. Every day that my feet touch the ground, I thank God for it, and I try to make myself. I follow a 1% rule personally, and that's I wake up every morning and try to be better, 1% better at something than I was yesterday. It doesn't matter whether it's parenting, whether it's being a wife, whether it's being a mom, whether it's being a boss, whatever it is, a neighbor. I try to be 1% better every single day. And I think that's a big thing. And if we just try to do that and we work within our homes and our proximities, we can get to a point where our generation, or where our people aren't considered, you know, the lowest on the totem pole in this country, because I feel like we create opportunities for ourselves, we create opportunities for each other. Create Black businesses, you created an opportunity for somebody else, right? So we just have to work together and do what's in our proximity to try to turn the needle, or you know, just, you know, hey, push the needle. There you go. To try to push the needle a little bit. And I feel like if we do that as a people and everybody's working together to do that, there are going to be some that get left behind. No race is monolithic, right? Everybody knows some knuckleheads where it don't matter what you tell them, what advice you give them, they're still going to go out here and F up. Everybody knows those people, right? So everybody's not going to make it. But if you have young minds that you can mold within your house and your proximity, tell them a good word. Like my man said earlier, tell them a good word. Show them something, you know. Don't let social media and TV and Hollywood be the only thing that's teaching our kids. And I feel like if we do that, all these people here today on this panel, even though some opinions differ, we all are of sound mind. And it sounds like we all are sane, mature adults that are out here trying to be successful. These are the people that need to be putting good words in other people's ears. So we gotta use that and put value in that and place value in that, because everybody's not going to make it, but the ones that can change everything for us as a people.
Right. Thank you so much, sister.
Thank you
Morpheus,
for having me. I'll definitely be coming back.
yeah, you're amazing. Morpheus, I'm gonna end, brother. Oh, come on.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you back.
Okay. Yeah, my neighborhood's not done yet, so you know they ain't put all the cell towers up.
I know how it go.
Yeah. So I could hear what you said. So the way I got past it, well, my stepfather wasn't a talker. Everything he did was physical, right? Anytime he wanted to have technically, anytime he was upset at me or because I did something, he hit me. So what I learned through that was controlling my emotions and understanding that even though he's hitting me, he's not breaking me, right? So then I played football, so I would relieve that tension playing football. But then what really got me past it was therapy, and I had to get to therapy. And I think a lot of us, I try to talk about it as much as I can, but I fought it for a long time until my kids came to me and said, "Dad, you kind of messed up. You need to get yourself together." That's when it hit me, and I said, "Okay, I need to get myself together. If they're telling me, I need to do it." So that's something we need to push in our Black community too.
Congratulations.
It's okay to have therapy as a brother.
Appreciate that. Appreciate you, brother. I really appreciate you putting that out there. That's some real good information today, man. And I want to salute you, man. I'm gonna get out of here, and I'll be back in a couple hours.
No, I appreciate you letting me up, brother. You have a good.
Pastors lying to the public. They ain't got the truth in them. Lights out, gas off, boot listed, city pimping. Blocks on fire cause the homeowners broke as fuck. Taxes up, water bill higher than a semi truck. It's a bigger play, a bigger play. Death before dishonor is the only way.